If I drink coffee.
There we are. And we're live. We're talking about coffee. We are live. Welcome to the Maple Minds podcast, where we talk about how it feels like we're living in a movie. We talk about things that are happening in the news, things that are happening in politics. We're from British Columbia, but we talk about Canadian politics, Americans, because you can't talk about politics without talking about the Americans. But I want to tell you something interesting about the shows. My favorite part of it is that when we log on, I have no idea if Rob is going to agree with me or not. What we do is about half an hour ago, I sent a list of topics that we're going to cover today. I have no idea what his opinions are. He has no idea what mine are. So we'll see if we agree or we disagree. We'll always keep it respectful. But we're going to start off with Doug Ford, because Dougie Boy is in the news. A lot of strong feelings about Doug Ford's ad. Tell them about it, and then how you feel.
Oh, tell them about the ad?
Yeah.
About the Ronald Reagan ad?
About the Ronald Reagan ad.
I mean, honestly, I don't know how I can describe it. I think a lot of people have probably already seen it. But I want to start off by talking about Doug Ford, like really quickly. There's an old saying that a bull in a china shop, and honestly, I think it was meant for him. Like I really do. That guy is the epitome of a bull in a china shop, and whether you love him or you hate him, that guy loves Canada. He loves Canada.
I think so too.
There is absolutely no doubt he loves Canada. He loves Canadians. He loves being a Canadian. And I can't fault him for just loving Canada and just wanting to promote Canada. So this whole ad, well, I guess there is that controversy where the Reagan administration or Reagan
Foundation.
The Reagan Foundation is saying that it's taken out of context and it's not. He shouldn't have used it. Essentially, I don't care. Good for him. Like I honestly, I think screw enough. Like he is our Gavin Newsom. I think he is.
Wait a second, that's crossing the line, man.
Honestly, because he's very outspoken and he doesn't. The one thing I like about him is he speaks his mind. Like he just speaks his mind, and I have a soft spot for people that just speak their mind, and they're
me.
Yeah, they're just true to themselves. He's just true to himself. He speaks his mind. Has it caused some trouble? Yeah, potentially. But how many times has Donald Trump said tariff talks are off with Canada? We're done. I'm going to raise tariffs even more. He's done that so many times. And in my mind, Donald Trump is like a spoiled little brat who just picked his toys up off the playground and said, I'm not playing with you if you don't want to play my games the way I want to play them with my rules. And I'm going home. And good for him. Good for him. Like, honestly, Doug Ford, good job. Keep it up.
I think so too.
Push the button.
So I think so too. I'm even okay with spending $75 million on it, if I'm honest with you, because, and a lot of people are going to disagree with that. A lot of people are like, hey, it was too expensive. $75 million of taxpayer money could have gone to better uses. Now, here's the thing. Any hour of any day, if you ask me, Christy, is there a better way to spend taxpayer money? I'm going to give you a reason. Every day, I can always find a reason or a way that taxpayer money could have been spent in Canadians' interest. But I'm okay with this because I don't know if you know, they're airing this at the World Series. They're going for the biggest bang for their buck. This isn't coming on after a freaking rerun. This is coming on during one of the most highly televised events that we have right now. So many people are going to be tuning into this. And here's the thing. This is why I think it's a good move. And I'm not as amorous about not even Rob Ford. Rest in peace. Doug Ford, that Rob is. I'm not as big a fan of his, but I'm a fan of this move. First of all, I think it was aimed to piss Trump off. Because then what happens? Trump reacts, right? Very predictably, Trump reacts in a very Trumpian way, which then brings national, international attention to it. How many people do you think knew about that Reagan clip before yesterday? It's from 87, man. How many people do you think knew it existed? How many people do you think know existed now? How many people in the Republicans and in the conservatives really respected Ronald Reagan? And when they hear him say, "No, tariffs are really bad for us," they might take it seriously, and they wouldn't have 2 days ago because they didn't know about it 2 days ago. I think that this was a great way to highlight it, and he got a free push. He didn't even have to pay bots to put it out there. He didn't even just got Donald Trump to inspire the whole world to look this video up. And let me tell you, as far as the Reagan Foundation is going, there's no way that a lawsuit comes about. I believe that Ford's office can argue fair exception. In my video, I had said fair exemption, and that was not enough coffee. I have coffee now. It's actually a fair exception rule. In the United States, it's called fair use, and it's part of copyright law where you can lift off of the internet if it's for educational purposes or satire or parody. YouTube has different legalities, but even if Ford gets sued for this, I still think it's a good move. I think getting sued, cost of doing business, cost of letting Americans know what tariffs are really like, because they're getting fed a meal of, it's okay, I'm going to give you a check from these things. I'm going to promise you 4 times so far this year that you guys are going to get a check from these tariffs because it's other countries that pay the tariffs. Not true and not true. Look how good I was not swearing. I think it was a good move. But I got to tell you, a lot of people on TikTok that I usually agree with, not agreeing with me. I stitched Frank Dominic's video today because he said, well, this commercial was for Trump. This commercial was not for Trump. If it was for Trump, you'd see it on the menu boards at McDonald's. It's trying to get the biggest audience possible. And the reason I think it's 75 million is I doubt that that's just the first game. I would bet, I don't know this. This is just my own Christie opinion. I would bet it's more than one game at the World Series, which is going to have the biggest audience that you can at this time, bigger than all the social media platforms put together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be the one game plus other ads on other things. But I mean, you're paying big money for the World Series. You're
not going to get, even if Trump didn't say anything about this and they had just run it at the World Series, it would get some attention. It wouldn't get, argue with me if you'd like, it wouldn't get a fraction of the attention that it's getting because of the Reagan Foundation's claims about pursuing legal avenues and Donald Trump's false accusations that it's fake. By the way, if anybody cares to see a side-by-side comparison, I did a sentence-by-sentence comparison from Ford's ad to the original Reagan clip. It's on my page and it's pinned, so it's easy to find.
It's also on the YouTube channel.
Oh, it's also on our YouTube channel, which you subscribe to.
Do you know what the best part is? Honestly, the 75 million for me it's hefty. I mean, obviously we could all think of much better things to spend the 75 million on, but we could also think of many things that we, as a country, we spent 75 million on that was not worth it either, right? But but that 75 million and just the fact that Trump acted like a little baby and he started going off on it
again,
honestly,
predictable.
I'm telling you right now, we got our money's worth. We almost didn't even have to pay 75 million to air it because he did it for us. Like he actually put it on such a great platform that the entire world is now talking about it before it's even aired. It hasn't even aired. Like
before yesterday, it would have been seen by baseball fans or people who care, well, maybe not baseball fans, but are tuning in because it's the World Series. And now everybody is looking into it because he cried about it. And again, I think if Ford, if that's an accidental thing, first of all, you're not paying attention to Trump, but I think that Ford did it on purpose. And that's why I give him credit because, like I said, you get a free push. You get a free push into the internet to everybody in Canada and the United States. Hey, look this up. Go see what Reagan said about it.
Yeah.
And the minute he posted it yesterday, like it has gone viral. Like the minute
Yeah.
Trump put up his tweet.
Yep. Again,
And
predictable.
yeah. So Trump writes, Canada cheated and got caught. They fraudulently took a big buy ad saying that Ronald Reagan did not like tariffs when actually he loved tariffs for our country and its national security. Canada is trying to illegally influence the United States Supreme Court in one of the most important rulings in the history of our country. Canada has long cheated on tariffs, charging our farmers as much as 400%. Now, they and other countries can take advantage of the US. What? Oh, can't take advantage. Sorry. Now they and other countries can't take advantage of the US any longer. Thank you to Ronald Reagan Foundation for exposing this fraud. Make America great again. And this went completely viral. The other thing I want to mention is that I posted an image on my TikTok, which I should put on YouTube, that the YouTube channel, which is run by the Reagan Foundation, the Ronald Reagan Foundation, had marked his video as unrestricted. So anybody could use his image, his likeness, and his words in that video.
Fair exception laws in Canada. Fair use in the United States. Like I said, the lawsuit's not going anywhere. The lawsuit's going to end up beside the lawsuit for Letitia James and the lawsuit for Bolton and Comey, right? These are all just intimidation tactics. I will bet anybody, get in touch with me. I'll bet you anything that the Reagan Foundation does not file a lawsuit against Doug Ford, or they'll file one but not go through. That thing doesn't go to court. It doesn't go to court. No way.
It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. I mean, it's frivolous. It doesn't even make sense.
It's
So.
well, it's just intimidate. Like I said, intimidation tactics. It's, you don't want to waste your time with court, so do what we want to. Fall in line, bend the knee, don't speak against us, shake your pom poms for tariffs.
Could you imagine that phone call to the Ronald Reagan Foundation from Donald Trump? How dare you let them use that? We didn't let them use it. Then I need you to put a statement out. Put this out right now. You say this.
Well,
and then I'm going to tweet something.
I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I believe that Trump actually has, I know Fox News has a connection to the Reagan Foundation. I believe Trump does too. And what they're saying about it being taken out of context, like I said, sentence for sentence. Now, that being said, some of the sentences were moved around. Some of the, when Ford put the video together, they started in the middle and then had some clips for earlier, but the whole time he was talking about tariffs. He was talking about the situation with trade with Japan. And at the end, it sounded like, Congress, there's people in Congress who disagree with me, but I'm going to need your help because American jobs are on the line.
Yeah.
Different situation that we're in now.
I think Americans, honestly, if you were watching, you need to really understand that the tariffs are going to hurt you. They are hurting you.
Yeah.
Like 100% they are.
And you're being lied to about who pays them. Other countries don't pay them. American companies pay them. And Donald Trump has promised 4 times this year that he was going to consider sending checks out to everybody from all the tariffs. The guy said that there's $17 million in commitments from other investors. And maybe we'll share some of that. You're not getting any of it. They keep saying, oh, it's coming, it's coming. They keep dangling the carrot so that you keep supporting them. They're just lying to you.
Yeah. If anyone gets a check, please post it on social media and show people that you actually got one.
If Trump ever starts writing the checks, you're going to hear about it on True Social first before anybody gets a check. Right?
100%. But it's just like, actually, one of the best responses that I saw for that No King protest, where they were talking about how Soros paid all these people, and everyone's like, "Oh, they paid all these people, 7 million people. He paid 7 million people all this money." This one guy, he actually said, he goes, "So if they were paying everyone, why wouldn't a Republican want to get in on it and get paid and then show everyone the check that he got from Soros?"
Yeah,
but there is no check.
Too.
Yeah, no one's got a check.
When people accuse me, oh, you're just being paid by Trudeau, I'm like, okay, so why don't you sign up to do what I do and prove me, like show a check from the government. It's a common tactic used to discredit. So speaking of the discredited, let's move to Mr. Poilievre and his I didn't say that. Mr.
Oh,
Pierre, I
geez.
never said that, even though there is indisputable proof on the internet. Poilievre and his RCMP comments.
Is that not just the best? Like, honestly, like if that doesn't put the nail in this guy's coffin, I have no idea. Like, I'm baffled at this point. There should be so many conservatives out there looking at this and going, I heard you. It's out there for everyone to hear. I can look it up. There's clips everywhere of him saying it. Like, how do you just be like, nope, I never said it. This is exactly what I said. No, that's not exactly what you said. Like, you're literally
saying stuff and people don't look it up and they just believe him. And then I think he thought that, first of all, I think he didn't think that anybody outside of the Northern Perspective audience was going to see it. Right.
Yeah.
And then it went mainstream, and he has demonstrated beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is unable to pivot. The man can't pivot whatsoever. So when he said, so he says this on the podcast, did you say that? No. But then he stays with the same narrative, just kind of tries to soften the language. Here's the thing. It doesn't even matter really if what you believe about the RCMP or Trudeau, or if that doesn't matter. It matters that the Conservatives can't win with this. It's already been proven that they can't win with this, because this happened in 2019 and they've lost 2 elections, not just one. They've lost 2. I'm sorry, my bad. They've lost 3 elections. They've lost 3 elections since this happened. They've already tried to tell this story. It didn't make voters go, well, I'm going to go with you guys instead, right? So from a purely political point of view, if you're a conservative and you're cheering for this guy, you're cheering for a losing team. You're not going to win. You are never, ever going to beat the Liberal Party with that guy as a leader, period. Because he can't pivot. When he screws up, he's not able to acknowledge it and apologize and take accountability, which makes people forget faster. He digs in, he lies, which makes people call him out more. You're never winning with that guy, ever.
Can I touch on that YouTube comment?
Yep.
Yeah. So there was a comment that alluded to the fact that we've been hating on Pierre Poilievre and that we're left because of it. And Christy can be leftist if she wants, or and Polly can be, or whoever can be. I don't care. It's one of these things where this person, like, you guys need to understand, Poilievre has left the center conservatives, like the traditional conservatives. He's left them. So when you're saying that if you're against Poilievre, you're a leftist, it's a little ridiculous, because
I agree.
Poilievre had left the conservatives and he's gone and started pandering to this ultra right. He left the conservatives that have been in the middle, that have been conservatives for years, who believe in the conservative ideology, and he's left them. He's absolutely left them in the dust. They haven't moved away from him. He's moved away from them. So I think everyone needs to understand that if the conservatives want to keep going with Poilievre, you're going to get what you're going to get. Those people that don't agree with him are not leftists. They just see him for who he is, right? And the fact that those far left or the far right people, they're going to follow him into the fire no matter what. He's got their votes. He doesn't even have to pander to them anymore. Like, I don't understand the philosophy and the game plan of pandering to the far right, who's going to follow you into the fire no matter what you say. Like, and honestly, I'm baffled, and I'm telling you right now, I'm not a leftist because I don't like Pierre Poilievre. I don't like Pierre Poilievre because of his lying, his misinformation. He's
So
not right
for
that.
I don't identify as a leftist. I did at one point, but really, I'm a freelancer, baby. I am not loyal to any political party at all. I'm a case by case person. I'm a topic by topic person. I'm an election by election person. And each election, I'm looking at who's going to do the best job. I'm not going to, when you attach yourself to one party or one political ideal, for me, and I understand why other people do it, and I'm not telling anybody else what to do. I'm just talking about, for me, I need the freedom to disagree with absolutely everybody. I can't be put into a situation where I'm told I'm not allowed to disagree with the other people in the party because, team sports. That is not for me. If you say something that I disagree with, I physically can't help myself. It's coming out. And when you are loyal to a party, you're not allowed to do that. I need freedom to disagree. I'm a freelancer.
Yeah, and that's where I am too.
But I will say,
I believe in some leftist stuff. Like I believe in a woman's right to choose. I believe in the more of a socialist system where we have free health care, things like that. Like I don't want to privatize healthcare. There's a lot of things that I do believe in, but at the same time, I think there should be tougher laws. I think there should be tougher laws for offenders.
there are now.
Yeah, for the most part.
There was an amendment that came out, or another bill that was passed. But yeah, I think that you and I are the same. And I like the NDP policies the most. I hate the way that the NDP handles their politics sometimes. Yeah. So I need to be able to express that, because I don't want to be, I think that if I was only calling BS on the Conservatives, I don't think that it would be genuine. Because then I would just be keeping my mouth shut. And I do keep my mouth shut with a lot of stuff, because I can't address absolutely everything I see on the internet, because I'm living too. But I have, like, there isn't a single party that I haven't criticized. I criticize every single thing that I disagree with. And it's not because I'm a leftist, but I think that, to Rob's point when he brought it up, as it came from a comment where somebody said, if you hate Poilievre, then you're just a leftist. And I saw a comment on X this morning that said, people don't actually just disagree with Poilievre. They just do it because they're emotional and they just hate us. And I think that is, I don't believe that they honestly believe that. I think that that's done to discredit us. The only reason that anybody would disagree with Poilievre is for emotional reasons, so you don't have to pay attention to why they're disagreeing. That's why. I think it's
actually, you know what? I love that you actually mentioned that, because that's 100% true. Like, I do not disagree with some of the stuff that the Conservative Party does. I don't disagree with the party, and I don't disagree with the people. I don't disagree with a lot of things on either side of it, as long as it's in the best interest of Canadians.
So I'll tell you,
I disagree with Poilievre on what he does and how he does it. And I think, and here's the weird part is, all conservatives should be concerned, and they should not die on the Poilievre hill. They need to get rid of him. They need to find someone new who's charismatic, who's not, I can't even say it. They need to find someone different. If they ever want to get into government, they can't just keep thumping Poilievre and saying he's the best, and everyone just is a hater. No, because they got to realize
almost daily on X, Pierre will say something, and then I'll respond to his post, and I'll tag the Conservative Party. I'm like, this is why you guys are going to lose 5 times in a row. I tell them almost every day.
I agree.
I feel like we're helping the Conservative Party by telling them what they should do.
Yeah,
like literally.
Here's the thing. I want the Conservative Party to be successful, because I believe that we deserve a productive opposition. He is not a productive opposition. This guy brought bills to the House he knows won't pass. He brought that 3-strike bill to the House, and then, look, Liberals don't want to vote to keep you safe. Everybody knows that bill was already struck down by the Supreme Court in 2019. They already know I think it was 2019, but they already know it's been to Supreme Court. It's already been found unconstitutional. Why would you chase something that isn't feasible just to rage bait? And we deserve somebody who's going to actually push Carney. I think Carney is smart enough to have very good ideas. I don't believe that there's a single person in the entire world who is smart enough to just run a country all on their own. I believe in getting push back, and enough so that it evolves your good idea to a great idea. You're never going to get that with Poilievre, ever.
Yeah. Here's the thing is, I was actually just going to touch on it. My ideal government is a minority government that works together so that all of Canada, all Canadians, lives get better. They create laws, they create, new legislation that's going to help Canadians, and it's going to be good for all sides. And it's not a matter of, well, I said we should do this and now they're doing it, but I'm still going to vote no. Like, it's like, come on, guys, like, work together. Oh, they didn't dot the I. The I in that bill was over to the side, so I'm going to say no. I agree with all of it, but because the I is dotted in a weird way, we're just going to vote no.
And that's why people hate politics, because it's games and it's not about what we elect them to do, and that is to actually represent us. We don't elect them so that they can go in and have stupid fights and act childish. We vote them in to represent us for what's going to be the best idea for us. My ideal government has a Liberal majority and an NDP minority. That's just my ideal. But that's I'm a dreamer.
I want to see. You know what? Here's the thing: is I want to see all Canadians represented. I think if you have a Liberal and NDP government, Conservatives they're out. I mean, and there are, as we can see, there's a number of Conservatives in Canada. There's a large portion of Canadians are Conservative, and everyone's voices need to be heard. Everyone should be represented. And all those laws that get passed and the bills that get passed, they have to be a representation of all of us, not just one group or one party or two parties. When the Liberals and NDP got together in that last session, where the combined, they could pass whatever they wanted, essentially. It worked okay, but I want to see it where all the parties can agree, and you don't need one or two parties to just agree. I want all of them to agree, but I want them to agree. Come to a decision.
I don't think you're ever going to get all of them to agree. But I think that when they disagree, it should be a good faith, genuine argument, and not fighting to fight. And I feel that most of the challenges that we see in the House of Commons is just fighting to fight. I don't know if you'd ever get everybody to agree unless you had a productive disagreement that came to an agreement. I think that's the best case scenario. I just don't know if I believe it's feasible. I want it to. I think I'm just more jaded than you are.
Yeah, I really you're a realist. I mean, and I am a realist to a certain point too. But in my mind I think you can have those constructive conversations, and you can, as a group, if you just got together and said, look, we're here for, like, I think they think they're there for themselves and for their parties, but they're there for us. They're there for Canadians, and they need to sit down and act like it, where they need to sit there and say, we need to come up with a plan for Canada and for Canadians. And we're going to sit here and going to do it.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Conservatives are never going to do that. And it's because of Poilievre, Poilievre doesn't do it. Everybody's going to follow that guy's lead, right? That guy is the one who is fighting to rage bait and throwing the crap out there, putting the misleading information just to make people angry. So they're going to follow that. As long as he is the leader, we're never going to see that. If we had a more productive leader who actually cared about getting policies in place to help Canadians and was genuinely interested in working with the Liberals and the other parties, then you'd see the MPs be like that too.
Yeah, 100%. It is Poilievre. My only concern is now in this political landscape, I feel like Poilievre's ruined Canadian politics to a point where if they ever did have a leader doing that, you're going to have a bunch of Conservatives sitting there getting angry at their leader because now they're being too nice to the Liberals or they're being too nice to the NDP. And but that's not how it should be. You need to get in there and you need to fight for your people, but you need to do it in the right way. Like you can't just start putting out false narratives and trying to discredit everyone and everything with lies and misinformation. I mean, that's not constructive in any sort of way whatsoever. But you could come out and have a really good conversation saying, hey, I like this bill that's being proposed. There's certain amendments that I think we need to make from a conservative standpoint to make this bill feasible for Canadians, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you go in and you then both come out, or everyone comes out in a united stance and saying, look, we work together. I think this bill is going to be right for all Canadians, whether you're conservative, liberal, NDP, blah, 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 Green Party, because they're still there, right? It needs to be like that. They need to work together.
We all know what the ideal is. Again,
well, I don't know if everyone knows what the ideal is. I think there's some people
fair
that
enough.
don't
I think
that.
well, here's the thing. I think so when you said that if Poilievre wasn't the leader anymore and somebody else was there, that you would have some MPs that were still kind of struggling with the, well, I don't want to be nice. Like, I'm so trained to fight and attack these people, I can't switch it to being nice to them. I disagree.
I'm talking about Canadians. No, I'm talking about Canadians, not MPs. I'm talking about just Canadians.
But
us.
Here's the thing. So my same comment though. My same comment. I think Canadians and MPs are going to be able to flip the switch easier than you give us credit for if we don't have him setting the example of pushing the rage bait. We get less rage bait. We have less angry people. We have less angry people. We have less people supporting them just because of the anger and just looking at situations that the way they are.
And now you're the idealist and I'm the pessimist, because I still think there's going to be a group of Canadians that are like up in arms going, what's with this love affair? They're not doing their jobs of being the opposition and fighting for us and showing us that these people aren't doing their jobs.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think there'll still be a group of those people. And I mean, I do agree that there might be less, because there won't be as many. There won't be as many sound bites and fancy slogans.
I think that the Poilievre, I disagree. I think that the Poilievre effect dissolves as long as he gets replaced with a productive leader who genuinely wants to help Canada and genuinely wants to work. And I'm not saying bend the knee to the Liberals. I'm saying work productively with the Liberals. I think that the Poilievre effect would dissolve faster than you think. I hope we get to find out. I think if we don't find out before Christmas, like my bet, I think we find out in January. I don't think this guy passes his review. I really don't.
He can. I think, honestly, if he passes his review after his comments about the RCMP, I think that blew up. That really blew up. And I think there's a lot of people that went, you know what, man, I don't know if we can keep doing that. I don't know if we can keep doing this. And the fact that he turned around and said that he did it, like he literally lied, It's a bold-faced lie where everyone saw this. Like, it's not even just the misinformation and the little tidbits. This is just an absolute bold face. Well, I didn't say that. Really? Boom. Here it is. you said it.
Here's the beauty.
Why are you lying?
Carney doesn't even have to go out of his way to try to slam this guy or shade this guy. He just has to step back and let Pierre stick his foot in his mouth.
Yeah.
But I do want to move on with Carney because he's presenting a budget pretty soon, November 4th. Now, before the RCMP comments, I saw a lot of chatter on social media about how, bring on the budget because we're going to vote it down. We're going to go to election and then Pierre's going to get in. Here's the thing. I think the budget passes because there is absolutely no way that the Conservatives can go into an election with these RCMP comments so fresh. Do you disagree?
Oh, I don't disagree at all. I mean, that does not make sense at all. But here's the thing: is do they need the Conservatives to vote it in, or
they need
or
somebody.
would the NDP and Bloc Québécois be enough?
I don't know how they're going to vote though, and I believe the Bloc is not in favor, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure.
Well, here's the thing, though, is the interesting part is the Bloc didn't do very well in the last election. NDP did dismal in the last election. So for them to go for another election, really, it's in their best interest. They can't get any worse. You know, well, maybe they
And
could. Who
how
knows?
is that
But
going to work without the NDP having a leader? Like a
because
like
they
if
don't
they
get a
just
leader
don't-
until March.
Yeah.
So I think, and I have a lot of criticisms about how the NDP ran their campaign during the election, but I think that it was naive to believe that more support wouldn't have come from the smaller parties to go to either the Conservatives or the Liberals, because I think that the last election, in my memory of my voting age, it hasn't been so just this guy or this guy. I think that before Carney had poked his head up and said, "Yeah, I'll think about it," I think that a lot of the conservative support wasn't actually conservative support. I think it was anti-Trudeau. I think it was so many people who had a bad taste in their mouth about Trudeau and just said, "We don't want this guy. We don't want this guy. We'll hold our nose and we'll stomach voting for Pierre just because we don't like this guy." And I think a lot of the Carney support, some of it was genuine Carney support. I don't think it was all. I think a lot of it was, okay, he's not Pierre, and I'm glad he's not Trudeau. I think a lot of people voted on who they didn't want, and I think that we're naive to think that a lot of that doesn't come from the smaller parties.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, here's the thing: is Trudeau overstayed his welcome for whatever he did in his term. I mean, there was some good stuff that he actually did, and throughout those years, and everyone can kind of point to whatever they want to point to, and it is what it is. Did he overstay his welcome? Yeah, like he was done. He actually went out. He went out on a high though with his anti-Trump messaging, and like he was in the dumps, and then the Trump came, and then he had that little war with Trump, and everyone's like, "Oh, Trudeau's back," and I thought it was funny that then he just went out on his own.
Yeah.
What I think is hilarious though is the fact that even still today, you still have Pierre Poilievre going after Trudeau, and it's
Can't
like,
pivot.
I don't know what this love affair is with Trudeau, but it's like
not about Trudeau.
Trudeau's
It's not
done.
about Trudeau. It's about
But
Pierre, because Pierre can't pivot. If it was somebody else, if they aimed the attack dog that is Pierre at somebody else, if they aimed him at Carney, it would be Carney that he can't not talk about. I don't believe it has anything to do with Justin Trudeau, and I think it has 100% to do with Pierre and his laser focus and his inability to pivot. And the attack dog thing, I want to go back to Doug Ford for a minute, because one of the things that Frank had disagreed with me about when we're disagreeing about if the Doug Ford ad is a good idea, he's like, well, he's not the prime minister. And I'm like, that's perfect. I don't want to see the prime minister putting this kind of commercial out. I want to see the prime minister playing his game of, I'm the responsible adult. I'm the one who is very pragmatic, and I'm the one who's measured, and I'm the one with decorum and diplomacy and professionalism. And I got this attack guy named Doug who's going to go and throw the shade for me. I don't want to see the shade being thrown from the prime minister. I'm glad that they have an attack dog who's willing to do it. And I think that the attack dog is a very I'd be surprised if Carney didn't know this commercial was coming out. I don't know if he knew or not. I'd be surprised if he didn't.
yeah,
but I think it looks better for him that it came from Doug.
did you see Carney's address to the University of Ottawa? I mean, oh, it was really good. It was actually really good. We can talk about, maybe we'll talk about it on Monday.
Tuesday. Where are you going Monday?
Tuesday. I don't know.
So I think that the budget's going to pass. I don't know what it's going to look like. I think that it's going to look like an increase in our deficit, because we've heard him talk about investing. And I got to tell you, one of the most ridiculous fights that I've had with somebody on the left was somebody on the left who said, oh, Carney's BSing when he says that there's a difference between spending and investing. It's the same thing. And I'm like, what? How? Like, who pays your bills at your house? What? Who handles your finance if you think that? That's crazy to me, to think that spending that has no return on investment is the same as investing, where you get a return on your investment. How do you not tell the difference? I don't understand.
Well, here's the thing: is not everyone's an economist, and if anyone understands that, if you're in the landscape that we're in right now with these tariffs and in trade, that's a little touch and go. if you're in this and you want to spur your own economy, you've got to invest in yourself. You've got to invest in infrastructure. You've got to put that money into it to grow your economy. And it's what you call like a short-term pain and long-term gain. And yeah, it's not going to look great, and there is going to be a lot more spending, but they got to understand that that's the building blocks for our economy. That's not just us frivolously giving money away. That's money that's going to have a return on investment in the future. Not next week, not next month, maybe not even next year, but in years to come. We're setting the groundwork to really spur our economy. And people, if they want to, they can look it up. It's an actual real plan to spur the economy. It really is.
Also, a lot of the return on investment that government is looking forward to, and I hope that they do a good job communicating this. And I am nervous because I don't believe that Carney is the best communicator. I think that when he knows that he has to address Canadians, he's better, right? He chooses a different language that Canadians can understand. But he doesn't realize that as the prime minister, Canadians are watching him all the time. And when he's in his comfort zone, he's talking like a banker. He's talking in language that regular everyday people don't use. He's talking about multilateralism, which normal people don't say every day. When like you can talk about what did he say? Pierre had made a video, and I hate agreeing with Pierre, but Pierre said nobody just understood that. And I agreed with him. I understood what he said, but I also acknowledge that the majority of Canadians don't speak like that and don't because they don't need to. And it isn't because they're uneducated or they're not smart. It's because they don't need to use that link. Multicolonialism, that's what it was. He's like, you're not going to have multilateralism without multicolonialism. There is a way easier way to say that so that people understand it. And yeah, he's saying it in an environment where he doesn't realize that Canadians are watching, but they're always watching. Carney, you're the rock star now. You don't have a behind the scenes moment and then just a stage moment. They're watching you all the time. You have to speak in a way that people understand you, or you have to find a way, get a translator, man, to come and translate what you said, because normal people walking down the street aren't talking about multilateralism and multicolonialism.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to watch that speech that he did. There was an American influencer, political influencer. I forget his name. I see him on TikTok all the time. He was actually showing clips of it and talking about it as an American, going, "Wow, look at this speech. Look at how great this is. This is a leader. I
didn't see the speech, but I saw the reaction, and I'd like.
But they were showing clips of the speech, and honestly, like that's what we need. We need more of that. And I think it'll be a good thing for us.
So do I. And I'd like to correct myself. He didn't say colonialism. He said polarity. My bad. Still a word that people don't use. That's my point. Speak in a way that everybody understands, so they can understand what you're doing. You can say what you want about Poilievre, but everybody understands what he's saying, even when it's BS. They understand it. They understand the message, and they're not understanding Carney's. And I think if you put forward a budget that is going to be uncomfortable until we start to see the return on investment, you need to communicate how that's going to be good for us in a way that's understood, because Pierre's going to be there trying to tell everybody how bad it is just so that he can get support.
Yeah, well, he's going to point to the deficit rising, and he's going to harp on that, and he's not going to talk about the benefits of why we would do that. Like why? Some people sit there and go, you're not spending money on a new car. That's not why you're going into a deficit, because you're spending money on a new car that's going to depreciate. You're spending money on infrastructure that's going to appreciate, where it's going to create jobs. It's going to create economic stability within Canada, and that's what we need. We fell down because over the past, I don't even know how many years, we haven't been building in Canada. We've been relying on trade with the United States. We've been, you know, which has been massive for us. And now you take that away from us, and you got to go, well, wait a second. We can't just rely on that, you know, that country below us for our own economic stability. Now we need to rely on ourselves. We need to build for the future, and we need to just assure that future Canadians will have jobs, will have a strong economy, and we don't need to be reliant on other people. Plain and
I
simple.
think going to Asia was smart. I do. I think he went to Malaysia today, if I'm not mistaken. He made a deal with Indonesia recently and talked about how Indonesia's economy is really one of the ones to watch that's on the rise, kind of like catching the wave as it's going. I think it's smart to go to Asia if you're looking for, you know, a large population to sell to. And I think it's important to find anybody else to do trade with, because the further we can get away from what's happening with the guy who either truly believes that other countries are paying the tariffs or is willingly lying to his citizens about other countries that pay the who about paying the tariffs. The Supreme Court ruling is coming up soon. I think that hearing people want a trade deal with the states before that ruling comes in, I think that's insane. I think that the people who just cheer for that, if you look at what else they cheer for, they're always cheering for Trump policies. I believe those are the guys that are put in place to open the door for the Americans to go, hey, 51st state, oh, it'll be so much better, because they've posted about it, right? I think that's their job, is to plant the seeds of doubt about Canada and to plant the seeds of hope for America in Canada.
Yeah, and I will be surprised if the Supreme Court does not rule against Trump's tariffs. I'll be surprised.
I'm
Even
surprised that you're even saying you'd be surprised. Are you kidding me?
Here's the
Dude,
thing:
this
is
is 2025. Nothing surprises me.
I know they're Republican, you know, Supreme Court, but at the end of the day, the Supreme Court needs to look at what's happening in that country and go, either A, we piss off Donald Trump, or B, we go into a serious recession and the economy will tank. Meanwhile,
Okay.
Donald Trump is building a ballroom, you know, and that's all he's worried about. You know, there, you know,
Okay, so listen.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
listen.
yeah,
We're going to segue that into the Steve Bannon stuff, because the reason I'm saying I'd be surprised, I'm surprised that you would even suggest being surprised. Did you see the Steve Bannon video where he talked about, like, quite confidently that Trump was going to get a third term, that, you know, we need Trump because we need him to finish what we started. This has been in the plans for so long, so much longer, in my opinion, than 2016. I think that they have been, over the years, putting their ducks in a row, putting certain people into certain positions to execute a plan that started to really escalate once Trump got elected. I think I brought this up on the last show about the messaging from the Trumpers when he got voted in is, okay, we've crossed the line. There's nothing they can do to stop us now. I think that everything that they've been doing over the past over a decade, well over a decade, they've been putting people in certain places to execute a plan. Once he was elected, bam, 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 that plan's going into place. That's why I am not going to be surprised if the Supreme Court rules with him. I hope they don't. I hope that they think the way that you do. I am not as optimistic. I wish
I agree with the fact that they've had a plan. And the funny thing is, I think they definitely had a plan before the 2016 election. And I think the plan got ruined in 2020 when Trump did not get elected a second time, because I think 2024 was their plan for Trump to be elected a third time. But he's in there now, and it, you know,
I totally agree with you.
Yeah. Like, I think there was, like, and that's why they were like, and honestly, I think there is something to that January 6th insurrection that was, perhaps there was a little more to it than what they like you think
Watch
about
Rob
it.
Dance.
Yeah. I'm dancing around it, but you think about like how badly they needed that 2020 election to keep doing what they wanted to do and then keep going forward, that when it didn't happen, I think there was a few people in the background that went, what do we do now? And I think some people were like, well, let's try this. let's see what comes of it. And then they sort of realized the folly of it, and that it was like, really, it's not going to happen. And then they reverted, and obviously they won in 2024. But
I also think when I say that they've had a plan for a long time and they've been putting people in place, if you look at how many people were part of Project 2025 that are part of his administration, like Caroline Levitt, the press secretary, she was a big part of 2025. She's somebody that I believe is just fully cult trained. Kristi Noem too. I think she's cult trained too. And I think that this is on purpose. When you watch Steve Bannon speak, you don't get the impression that he's not intelligent. When you watch Donald Trump, you get the impression that he's not intelligent. When you watch Kristi Noem, when you watch Caroline Levitt, when you watch Kash Patel, there's a lot of them. When they speak, they come across as not intelligent, as they're just doing what they're trained to do and not answer questions and just push the message and just attack, never admit when you're wrong, never apologize for everything, just attack, forward. I think that's been a plan for a long time. I think these people were probably chosen a long time ago as well too. And I think probably they started choosing them during Trump's, because you're seeing a very different type of administration in his second term, versus his first term. In his first term, he was going through people like that, because people in his first term were not as loyal soldiers, trained to just repeat what they're told and nothing else. And all of these guys are.
Yeah, it's actually funny. It's a fantastic point, because these people that they have in place, they can sleep at night. Yep. Those other people, I don't think were able to sleep at night, and I think it wore on them. These people are stone cold, like just hardcore, like they drank the Kool-Aid. I think some of them like made the Kool-Aid, like they're on it. Did you see that NBA scandal with the FBI where they went in?
Bro.
So they were, and they were talking about how because the NBA's gone left, that's why they went after them or something. My favorite thing is, and I made a comment, and my comment was, so if they were still right wing, they would cover it up and not say anything like they do with all their other Republican friends. But because it's the left, then they're going to call them out. Hey, if you guys were on our team, we wouldn't have said a word.
Like, that's so weird.
Like, it literally is. You literally said that out loud. They literally said it out loud because they went to the left.
Yeah,
we went after them. But
that's
if they
crazy.
were part of the right, all that craziness, we would have looked past it, because that's what we do for our friends.
That's what it sounds like. And you know what
it's exactly what it
reminds me of, the podcast where Pierre got a little too comfortable and slammed the RCMP and stuff. Before that, he was answering a question. They said, we're going to ask you about the scandals of the Liberals for the last 10 years. They said, in fact, the Liberal Party has been responsible for 1/3 of the scandals since 1867. Isn't that a weird way of saying that conservatives have been responsible for 2/3 of them? There's never, like, when has there ever been a party that hasn't been a liberal, or maybe not the Conservative Party itself, but like a form of Conservative Party? Isn't that like saying conservatives have more scandals than liberals? It's weird. It's weird to only have one or the other run your country since 1867 and then give a number that's lower than 50%.
Yeah.
A good argument.
I think it's actually really funny, because at the end of the day, people have to understand, whether you're left or right, in the middle or wherever, there's going to be people that are going to cause scandals. People are human. Like, whether you're conservative, whether you're liberal, whether you're NDP, there's going to be people that are going to do things that aren't right. And it's not because they are liberal, and it's not because they are conservative. It's not because they're NDP. It's because they're corrupt. They're just corrupt people.
Because they don't have integrity.
Yeah,
it's a person thing. It's not a party thing. It's a person thing. You either have integrity or you're willing to sell it for a couple of bucks. And I say the same thing about occupations. There isn't a single, like you can't judge somebody by their job, because there isn't a single job that you could, there's no occupations that haven't had somebody with bad intentions or somebody with a lack of integrity. There isn't a single job, not on the planet.
It's everywhere. I mean, it is everywhere. There's
It's a people thing, right?
Yeah,
like
it's a people thing, not a party thing. How about we say that from now
well,
on?
and but here's the thing, it's like an identity thing, right? I think everybody, and especially that we're in this age of identity politics, it's this feeling that you get a certain shield if you have more credibility if you're from this occupation. Well, every occupation, like I said, has had somebody with no integrity. Every political party has had somebody with no integrity. There is no shield for the identity of what you're with. There's always somebody. It's a person thing. It's not what group you're part of thing.
Yeah, and I hate when people all try to just jump on it, be like, "Oh, that's the liberals. They did this." And I'm like,
It's a
no,
discredit thing. We do
just
the same thing with conservatives. It's a discredit thing.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
All right. We're almost done, but we'll talk about the No Kings protest quickly, because I'd like to address some BS that I saw. So a few things. So I posted a video of when I was talking to CTV reporter that they didn't air. They should have. Can I just say, their video about the protest has about 200 likes. Mine has 4,000. I'm just saying. But holy smokes, the only reason I have so much engagement on that video is the bots. I haven't had that many bots since election day. You don't even understand. I spent a full half hour the morning after that video just blocking bots. It was insane. It was a big invitation. But there was a post going around on X to say that the live Boston footage that MSNBC was doing live, that's fake. That is actually from 2017. Look at this. The big news, MSN got busted doing a fake video. It wasn't fake. But Grok, the AI that is part of the X platform, Elon Musk's platform, said, no, this is actually from 2017. And then it put links to prove that it was from 2017. None of those links actually went anywhere. It was just BS. And I don't believe that's a coincidence, considering Elon had spoken about tweaking Grok because it was too woke. But yeah. The other BS that I'd heard about is, well, Canada already has a king. These guys don't realize that they're hypocrites. And I'll tell you something funny. While I was talking to the CTV reporter, I finished up talking what I was going to talk about. And he was, winding up his cords of his microphone and stuff. And this donkey comes up and he's like, hey, CTV, you should ask these people why they're at a No Kings protest when they have King Charles and they have a queen on their money. Ask them that. And then he ran away. And then me and my friend just kind of looked at each other and rolled our eyes. And the CTV guy goes, what's he talking about? And I go, and I had to explain it to him about why he had brought this up. Because the CTV guy's obviously not on social media and saw everybody talking about it. Everybody was trying to discredit it, to say, well, you have a king anyways. You don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, we do know what we're talking about. King Charles does not have the power in Canada that Donald Trump desires in the United States. For the record, that is what we were protesting. I'm sorry if the words got in your way and it kind of confused you. But to be clear, we are protesting against any one person in a democracy having plenary power. Hope that clears it up.
For that reason, ours was called the No Tyranny protest.
Yeah,
it was not
No Tyrants
No
protest.
Kings. Tyrants, yeah, that's it. Sorry, thanks.
That's okay.
No Tyrants protest. So that is why
people just want anything to discredit.
Yeah.
And that was the intention of that, but it's an ignorant, come up with a better argument, attempt to discredit. I was going to go argue with him, but I was in a good mood. And I decided I didn't want to get into fights at the protest, so I was good.
Nice. You didn't want to be a statistic and be like, a big brawl broke out.
Then there was this little
Christy on
with a sandwich board that said "Fight Truth Decay," which honestly I got so many compliments on my sign. I painted it 5 minutes before I left for the protest. I just thought at the last minute, I'm going to make a sign. And so many people said, can I take a picture of your sign? I'm like, yeah, I want my message out there. I stole that idea. Actually, I didn't know what to put on my sign. So I went on Instagram and I was looking at some of the other protests, and somebody in New York City had a sign like that. And I'm like, oh, I want that sign. So I made one that said that. And a few people asked me, do you want me to take it from the back so that your face doesn't show? And I'm like, you can show my face. And they'd be like, oh, do you want me to crop out your face so that your face doesn't show? And I'm like, people on the internet know my face and where I stand on this. And I'm good with it. It's okay.
So you
But I did
reappropriated the
appreciate
sign.
consideration. Sorry?
Yeah. You reappropriated the sign.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
But they were just saying, like, I think a lot of people at the protest don't want the negative backlash for having this opinion against it's not easy. It's not for everybody, you know?
No,
It's
not
for
at all.
me.
Yeah, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
All right, that's it. Did you have anything else that you wanted to touch on? I will watch the speech to the Ottawa University, and then we will talk about that on Tuesday.
Yeah, should be good.
I got to write it down. I'm going to forget. Polly, don't forget.
You know who you're asking, right?
I do. I laugh too. I'm writing it down.
So I think we're gonna have a live where we do question and answers, and we'll show some comments. Because we only have an hour, and so I think we'll do a separate live where we will take down questions, anything that's left on, like if you leave a question on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and leave us some comments there on our videos, I'm going to collect those and we'll have like a question and answer. If there's anything that you want to ask Christy or Rob or me, you can also go to Maple Minds on TikTok and send us a direct message on there.
I'm also going to bug another creator on TikTok who goes by Women Against Poilievre about being our guest one of these days. Very knowledgeable about politics, very liberal. But I think she'd be a great guest.
Nice.
I think so too.
We'd need more than an hour, honestly. Like, I could talk about this stuff all day. I could, but I can't. So I'm going to sign off for now. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will be live again on Tuesday, where we're going to talk about Carney's speech to the university in Ottawa and anything that happens between now and Tuesday. Who knows what we're going to be talking about on Tuesday, but make sure that you're following our TikTok page. Make sure that you have subscribed to our YouTube channel, and that's where you can find any of our old shows. And I'm Christy, that's Rob and Polly. Thanks again for joining us. And we will see you on Tuesday, 1 o'clock Pacific time.
Yes. And subscribe.
Bye.
And subscribe.
Bye,
Okay,
everybody.
bye.
Takes a minute to log on.